Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about how Kalos DLC is basically confirmed and how we're getting Johto remakes first, not Universe remakes. I'm going to start off with the Johto thing because I know a lot of people right now are probably like, why would you say that? That's not happening, that's impossible. No, it's not. And here's how. We go all the way back to 2004. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green came out. But what generation was that in? It was in the good old generation of Generation 3. That'll come into importance later on in this development. Then, in Generation 4, Heart Gold Soul Silver came out. Then, we skip to Generation 6, and Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire come out. And in Generation 7, Let's Go comes out. Have you noticed the connection? If not, let me explain it. A Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is basically Ruby and Sapphire in this case. And Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are Fire Red and Leaf Green. We had the Gen 3 and then the Gen 1. So, realistically speaking, if it is following a pattern, we can simply just apply any rules in any pattern to basically confirm Johto is what's next, because the remake after Fire Leaf Green was Heart Gold Soul Silver, which was in Generation 4. Generation 4 has just had their remix in Generation 8. So, if there is a set pattern, we can confirm that either this year or next year we are getting a Johto remake, not a Universe one. And then for Generation 10, we will get the Universe one, most likely, which will then be followed by the Kalos one, because there was no remake in Gen 5. So just, yeah, that's what my theory is anyway, on that. Now on to the Kalos DLC thing, which sounds completely ridiculous, but trust me, it ain't as crazy as you think. First off, I'm going to go over some of the points that basically everyone said, such as AZ Area 0. So that's just a coincidence, right? Possibly, yes. However, AZ was the Kalos king during a war. Don't know who the war was with, really, do we? But we can presume that possibly AZ was at war, well, had put Kalos at war with, well, he didn't put them at war with that's just a bunch of rubbish. Well, basically, Kalos and Paldea potentially at war. Don't know what for, but you know, wars happen in the real world for no reason sometimes, so who's to say that's not what happens in the Pokemon world at times? People just go to war because they feel like it. They're just like, you know what, we want more, let's do it. For no reason, they just feel like it. So possibly that's what happened with the Kalos in Paldea War, if that's what happened. And during that war, perhaps, well, yes, we know that there was an ultimate weapon. What if the beam from the ultimate weapon, instead of just going back on itself, in fact went all the way over to Paldea and went straight in the middle, creating none other than the Great Paldea, the No, not the Great Paldea. The Great Crater of Paldea. Meaning that the Paldean crater would have been created by AZ, and they're like, you know what? He made it, so we're going to name it after him. Area 0. That's how it got its name. Makes sense. Right? Everyone, is that all you've got? No, it is not. Because Nemona used a very interesting word that reminds me of Kalos. This is very far-fetched, by the way, but I need my points. I need to just mention it because it happens. She says neighbour. Who was your rival back in Kalos? Serena or Callum? What did they say to you? Quite a lot of the time. Neighbour. Yes, it could just be because you're neighbours, but you're also not really neighbours. So it doesn't make sense to just go, oh yeah, neighbours. And then we're going to go with the most bizarre pointing ever that makes no sense at all, but, you know, it's some sort of evidence, I suppose, being there is a large percentage of Kalos Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. So, adding Kalos wouldn't be too much of a problem because they don't need to go, oh, but we need to make sure that we have every Kalos Pokemon model and textured and all that, because they've already done it for most of the Pokemon anyway, including the starters. Yes, that's pretty much as good as saying, well, Galar's coming back then. And technically, it's not actually far-fetched, because there is the AZ'sReturn, potentially. That works out. That's a bit more far-fetched than the whole moving to Kalos thing, but it's possible. And then another thing on the Kalos DLC potential is this year is the 10th anniversary of Pokemon X and Y. What better way to celebrate the 10th anniversary of a game than bringing that region back? And if they do bring it back, my theory is it's going to be the second part of the DLC. The first one will be in June, it'll be some random thing or whatever. Maybe it's even like just the trail back to, like the trail to Kalos. We can't enter Kalos yet because maybe there's some problem they've got to fix or something, which you fixed in the first part. Will that maybe like you fix the problem, but then they've also got to do some stuff on their end, which would then make sense as to why Kalos takes so long to be brought into the game, because they have to sort some stuff on their end in the Kalos region to then make it so you can then go into Kalos and explore Kalos as well. Yes, this is very far-fetched, but it's not impossible. And if it's not impossible, it's a possibility. And possibility will lead to every matter in life. This is a possibility that I think is possible. When the probability of this happening is much more likely than the whole Galar thing that didn't happen, which we got baited out of because they just had the cave, the Galar mine, whatever. That was very similar to the glistening cave, well, not really, but it had glistening rocks, so like, oh well, glistening cave, right? No, but it doesn't matter because now there's Game Freak's chance to redeem themselves and bring in Kalos, and hopefully, maybe give Kalos what it was missing. That Sun and Moon stole, should I say. Because I know Sun and Moon was a good game to some people, but you can't ignore the fact that Zygarde, like Zygarde's whole thing, that should have been in Kalos for a third version. Same as the Astral Ninja thing, that should also have been in a third version of Kalos, not shown into the Sun and Moon. That's like if they made Kyurem Y and Black locked until Pokemon X and Y. People would be furious about that, so we can't just let them get away with it because it's Kalos, and not many people like Kalos, just because it was too easy. Wasn't too easy. Really wasn't. Like, yes, it could have been harder, but bear in mind, first time of them using the new experience share, so they had no idea how it could turn out. So of course it was going to be a little overpowered because they weren't sure how to properly balance it yet. And I'd say now, in Generation 9, they've mastered that. I'd say it's pretty well balanced. The only way to really be overleveled is if you purposely get yourself to be overleveled. I don't think there's possibility of you accidentally overleveling yourself these days. And really, if you think about it, if the XY XP share, like, being able to turn it on and off as well, was in every Pokemon game would be too easy. Unless you had it post game. But if you look at post game, that's just going to make people a bit angry, so you don't want to do that. And besides, grinding is no fun, so why even do that? Like, I'd rather be overleveled for a game than have to grind for ages. Like, I like the older games, sure, but the grinding was not fun. So, the XP share wins that. And my hope is, if we're going back to Johto for a second, if we do Johto, well, if we get Johto, we're going to have that XP share, meaning grinding in Johto isn't going to be a pain in the backside, because it was in both Gold and Silver Crystal and Hard Gold Soul Silver. And I really hope if they do remake, like, the Johto games, they'll at least, like, just do level balancing properly for starters. And for the love of all Arceus, just give the gym leaders Pokemon that are native to Johto, not, oh, yeah, this is Johto, but we only have Kanto Pokemon, because why would we use our own region's Pokemon when Kanto has Pokemon? But seriously, they should have given, you know what, I've got a list. Okay, so Faulkner, Hoot and Natty is what you could have. Then for Bugsy, you could have Ledian, Spinarak and Shuckle. Whitney for Dunsparce and Meltank. Morty, because there's not that many ghosts in Johto, they had to give him Kanto ghosts. So Mischievous, Haunter, Mischievous, Haunter and Gengar, because then Haunter and Gengar, they're basically around the same power level. It's not using two of the same Pokemon, it works. Chuck, which is the biggest problem, could have Heracross and Hitmontop. Jasmine could have Fortress, Scizor, and Skarmory, and Steelix as well. Price, Palestine, Sneasel, Delbird, Claire would have to have duplicates because there really isn't much of a choice. And because Dragonite isn't available at this point in terms of levels, I'd give her Kingdra, and Dragonair. And the Pokemon League is more or less fine. However, for Lance, I would give him a pretty massive change. I'd give him all the Johto starters, let him keep his Dragonite, let him keep Gyarados, and let him keep Aerodactyl. So he's got 3 of his old Pokemon, and then he's got 3 new Pokemon that I think fit him really well. Because Meganium sort of looks like a dragon. Probably it just still also kind of got dragony appearance. And then Typhlosion just sort of suits him, in my opinion. So yeah, I think there are a lot of changes that should be made to Johto. If not, fine, I'll do it myself. I'm kidding. Maybe. Maybe I will. Who knows? But that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this is maybe giving you a different perspective on we need to have a Unova remake. Because we really don't. Alright, that is all for this one, so I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.